The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I want to tell you a story that I heard this Shabbos from a Hasidic man. An unbelievable story. And he told me he knows for a fact that this is a true story. He knows the people that were involved. So in Europe, before the Holocaust, in a very poor town in Poland, they were very poor. So there was one man in town that was not so poor, but most of the town were peasants. They almost didn't have any money. And this father went ahead, and in those days it was a big thing, not like today you get 100 pairs of shoes. The father, this boy, his son had shoes, but it was Poland and very cold in the winter, so he bought his son a pair of new boots, which was an iPhone in those days. A pair of boots was, in the winter for a boy, was like, you wore it till your toes were coming out of the front. Okay, he buys it for his son. 2 days after he buys it for his son goes to school. 2 days after his son takes his shoes with him to school, and he comes back in his shoes instead of his boots. So the father says to the boy, his son, "Where are your boots? I just bought you new boots." He said, "Well, Tati, there's a boy in my class, and his father died, and they have no money, they have no food, and his shoes have big holes, and my shoes don't have big holes. So I gave him my boots." So the father didn't know what to do. He's going to tell him, "Get back your boots." It's very bad chinuch. But he just bought him a pair of boots, and for them that money was kaddish. He decided, you know what? Chinuch, I'm not. So my son will wear the shoes. Every time he's freezing in his shoes, he remember that he did chesed. I'm not asking him for it back. Okay? Next year, he buys his kid a new coat. It's a true story. He buys his kid a new coat. 2 days later, he comes home without his coat. The father says to the kid, "Where's your coat?" He says, "You remember the boy I gave my boots to? I have a sweater, Tati, and I have a jacket from last year. He has nothing. He doesn't even have a sweater. He's freezing. I gave him my coat." That's getting a little ridiculous for the father. He bought him boots, he gave away his boots. He bought him a coat, he gave away his coat. What is he going to do? You tell him to give back the coat. The kid's telling you, this kid's freezing. He didn't have money to buy another coat. Nope. So the kid wore a sweater with another sweater with his ripped old coat. That's what it was. One day the boy comes home, we gave away the boots, gave away the coat, and he says, "This boy who's so poor, his mother just passed away. And he doesn't have a place to sleep. He has no parents. Could he stay with us?" And the father's like, at this point, there was no room in their house. They didn't have money to support another kid. So the father says to his son, "That I can't do. Maybe he can find someone else in yeshiva in the class that could take him in. I can't take him in. We don't have room. We have girls. I can't have a boy. Whatever. I can't take him in." That night, his son doesn't come home. And he starts panicking. It gets dark. It's in Poland. It gets dark. He's thinking his son got kidnapped, whatever it is. The son is missing. His son didn't come home from yeshiva. So they start looking for him, for this kid. They find him in the shul, midnight. The whole place thought he was kidnapped. They find him in the shul, in the Ezras Nashim, in the women's part, sleeping on a bench together with this kid. So that this kid shouldn't sleep alone. Yeah? Unbelievable. This little boy. Unbelievable. Okay. War happens. The Holocaust happens. The poor boy, who didn't have the boots, who didn't have anything, moves to America. The other boy, right, they both make it out through the Holocaust. He ends up going to Eretz Yisrael. The one who goes to America who was poor becomes very wealthy. The one who went to Eretz Yisrael, who gave the boots away, ended up becoming a yeshiva man and very frum and had like 9 kids, 9 kids, lived in a nothing. He had no money, whatever it is. He used to sit and learn, and he had a few prutas. His wife worked as a teacher, whatever it was. One day, into the yeshiva, this guy's learning in yeshiva, Panovich, I don't know where he's learning. One day, an American walks in and says, "So-and-so, by his last name, Lefkowitz, whatever the name is he in this yeshiva?" "I heard he's in this yeshiva." "Yes." He's sitting over there in that stender, guy, black, whatever, not dressed, whatever. He walks over to me and says, You're Chaim Moskowitz, right? He says, yes, I am Chaim Moskowitz. Who are you? He says, I'm Hershkowitz. Remember we were in yeshiva together before the Holocaust in Poland? You bought me a pair of boots, and then you gave me a jacket. You remember when we slept together and your father was freaking out and he couldn't find us, and we were in the Ezras Nashim in Shul? He goes, I can't believe it. I was worried about you. I didn't even know that you made it out of the war. He says, come outside, I want to talk to you. It's a true story. He takes him outside. He says, I happen to know, I knew that you were here. I knew that you were alive, I knew you were here. I never got a chance to come to you, but now I want to tell you something. I made a lot of money. He says, and I'm not taking no for an answer. He said, you have 9 children? I'm making 9 chasanas for you. Not only am I making 9 chasanas for you, I'm buying you the clothing for if it's your daughter, your son, whoever needs it for the family, for each wedding. I am buying all the clothing for that wedding. You gave me your boots, and you gave me your coat. And in Eretz Yisrael, you can't rent a dira, you have to buy a dira. He said, and I will buy every single one of your children an apartment when they get married, because that night you slept with me, and you didn't let me be alone. I am never going to let you be alone. He made 9 weddings. The clothing, the wedding, every single kid got a dira. So you think, wow, it's an amazing story. But I'm going to tell you something, because I like to think about things, that what's amazing about the story is not what you think is amazing about the story. What's amazing about this story is the father of the kid who gave away the boots. Because had he made him give back the boots, this would have never happened. So what did he do? He understood to be mechanech my child, even though I just bought him a pair of boots, and he just gave away a pair of boots. But if I'm going to take it back, I'm going to teach my child not to share. So it cost him, what did he lose? $5? $10? How much did the boots cost? He lost $10. How much did the coat lose? $50. He lost $60. And he must have felt bad. I went ahead, I have no money, I bought this for my child, and he gives it away. $60 he lost, which in those days was a lot of money. What did Hashem give him back? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million. What happened? What did he get back? This is the grandfather. In other words, the father of the boy who gave away the shoes is the grandfather of all those chassan and kalas. So he gave away $60, and his grandchildren got millions. Clothing, everything. Why? Because he understood that chinuch comes before my personal want and needs. In other words, the reaction of me would have been to my daughter, it's very nice, but don't give away the stuff I owe you a pair of boots. Don't give away your boots. Right? That would have been my reaction. It would have been a totally wrong reaction, because if that's what you do, then okay, then I don't have to ever give away anything. It's such a godless, one of the people that were there said over the story, and I was sitting there and I'm saying, the godless is the kid, I understand, it's a big thing. But I can understand a kid who sees someone without boots. Okay, take my boots. Money's not a big deal. But the father who bought his kid new boots, who must have been so excited that the little money that he had, he put it together, and I bought my son shiny boots. I'm going to see my son in a new pair of boots. So happy. And then his son comes home in shoes, in dirty shoes, and he gave away the boots that I bought for him. And for him to walk away from that and not take the boots back, that's the godless. The adult, because the child's a child, but the adult. That's what happens when you have Hashem here, by the way. You have Hashem here, that's how you act.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org